Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the P-Bandai exclusive, or P-Bandai exclusive, HGUC Barzam AOZ reboot version. Now for those who don't know what the AOZ stands for, so that means Advance of Zeta. Now Advance of Zeta is basically an alternate timeline. It's basically a non-canon timeline kind of thing of series. I'm not the best person to explain this because I'm not the biggest fan of the AOZ stuff, so which is why I don't review many of them. So, but basically anything from Advance of Zeta is a non-canon mobile suit. It's not in the correct. It's not like what we consider canon. It's just a what-if situation. So there's like a really limited number of, like, especially depending on like the community or people of the country. There's like really not as many, you know, fans of the Advance of Zeta as you think. Now I'm pretty sure by saying this you're gonna say, but I know a lot of people know of Advance of Zeta. Yes, to you it may be a lot, but for the company, that's not a lot. Just because you know a few hundred people doesn't mean that that's enough for the market. Alright, so now let's get on to the review. So this is the Barzam reboot version. So basically just consider this as the Advance of Zeta version of the Barzam. Now we do know that the Barzam does have some variations in terms of designs, but a few years ago we actually got the HGUC Barzam, and I actually really like this kit. So let me get this off the rotating stand and let's get on to the review right away. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are wondering, like, how is it different? How different is it in terms of design? And I'm gonna say very different as well. So it's basically same style, but the overall build is kind of different. So it's not basically a retool of this. It's kind of an entirely whole new build going on here. And some people are asking, if it's an entirely new build, why is it P-Bandai and such? Once again, it's the market. Like, if only a few people know about this, then there's no reason for a company to release this as a mass retail. I'm pretty sure when you think about Gunpla kits, it's the typical Astray, Barbatos, Gundam, Exia, and such. Nobody's gonna think about, well, oh, Gunpla, that means Barzam. No, that's not. That's just the way it is now. And people are buying less Gunpla, meaning which is why we're getting more P-Bandai. That's kind of like, you know, that's just how the market works these days. And something we just need to take it in. Alright, so as you can see, there's a huge difference between the two in terms of even color and style. Now, the HGUC as we got as mass retail, this version is basically it's the version we saw in the Z-Gundam series. And I actually really like this kit in terms of color, style, and the overall chunk. I like it. And Bandai has been like teasing the HGUC Barzam to us for a long time. Even it made, like, before the kit was released, they even had like pictures of the HGUC Barzam box. They even had like a Gunpla kit of the HGUC Barzam in the anime, which in real life we didn't have. So they teased us a lot, and then after a few years, they finally gave it to us. All right, and now this was kind of a unexpected sudden release. So I'm just gonna say that because no one was expecting this. And just for the record, there was this version, and then there was also a red version as well. Yes, I did technically pre-order the red version, but once again, that was a different pre-order, not the same date as this one, so it's gonna be coming in late. Alright, so basically you can see it's a whole different style of design. So at this point, it's really up to you to choose which one you want, whether it's P-Bandai or mass retail, whatever. Despite those, if it's up to your choice which one you like most. And now I each like both of them, but they each have like certain aspects I like and certain aspects I don't like. So that's that. So looking at the back, you can definitely tell, like, in terms of the yellow, every like yellow parts that was used here or the areas is now in this kit is more orange. I'm not saying they're the same parts. I would like to point that out. They're very different parts, but you know, the overall style and, you know, locations and such. Now, yeah. All right, so now let's see what we got. So, starting off with the components, of course. So first of all, we get the Barzam itself, the reboot version, and we get it's kind of like its own unique beam cannon or / beam rifle. I'll get into that later. And then hand-wise, we get two multi-purpose hands for each side. So one on the left, one on the right. So we get two hands for in total, and then we get two beam saber hilts and effect parts. Now, we've seen these before from the Barzam. Now, one of the biggest difference that this kit has is that the original HGUC Barzam, for example, it's not exactly a full-fledged storing mechanism, but you could actually store in like a half of the beam saber hilt inside the arm. So In series, if you want to actually use the beam set, you pull it out and then reattach like certain you actually use a different part. So this is just to give the illusion where it's just stored inside there. So it's not, so inside the arm, it's not a full-fledged beam saber in here. In this case, we don't have that gimmick. So there are some different designs. So I feel like they were really focused on the outside design instead of like certain gimmicks going on here. Alright, so other than that, we get, as I mentioned, we get 2 of these, and then we get 2 sticker sheets. So number 1 is this. This is your typical sticker sheet. It's not, it may look like a lot, but most of these stickers are not that bad, because usually these ones here are all going on to like certain areas of the legs, especially like the vents and such. So, and small circles, they're no big deal, to be honest. So I'll try to point out where they go. Granted, I will admit that certain stickers don't really look good, so I might actually, after this review, I might like peel them off. This white one is kind of something I was unexpecting it, but still, it's there. I'll point it out where it is. And then we get some, you know, Titans, the AOZ version of the Titan symbols here, there, and there. So, on the manual, they do mention like where you can put 2 symbols on the kit, but once again, it's really up to your preference. Alright, so now let's get on to the articulation here. Alright, so now the head, I would like to point out the difference is on the head. So the head, the mono eye is still, it uses a clear piece and you can't move the mono eye. But you can see the exposure of the hole on the head is very small compared to the actual original Barzem. You can see like the exposed mono eye much better. It's like really literally exposed there. So that's one of the big difference that you have here. So, and which is why while taking pictures, I did have some trouble, especially with the head, because I can't really see its mono eye in most pictures. Now the head, it can go down that much, but up not so much. It's just pretty much stuck in here. I think it's because this section right over here is actually colliding with the main body, so which is why it's limiting it. And then 360 twist should be possible as well. And I would like to mention that this kit does not use any polycaps, so that's something that you need to be aware of. So any kit that doesn't use any polycaps will get that very sturdy and kind of a, you know, tight feel in overall places. Now once again, like the Gundam Mark II, you still got this Vulcan pod right over here. If you want to detach it, you can detach it as well. Of course, with that, the head does seem slightly empty time to time, so I think this one looks really good with the Vulcan pod as well. I believe the original one did have that, but once again, I think it looks better without it. So it's really up to your preference as well. And then, like I believe, like the previous version, this part of on the Vulcan pod, the red section is also a sticker. Now, looking at the main body. Now, the main body definitely has a different shape. Overall, it's a much more smaller main body compared to the original. The original had a much more wider and larger body, while this one has a much more smaller version as well. The build was very fun on this. It was a very unique build, and I would like to mention that we actually have on the body here, we actually have this piston gimmick right over here, or cylinders, whatever they call it these days, so you can move up and down. Now, this does kind of lock the kit in place by not being able to move the body side to side or rotate it. So that's one thing as well. But then again, when you look at the original Barzem, I believe he doesn't have any pistons. You can move up and down, and then you can move side to side on the top. So that is a little bit, you know, of a downside. So I think they were too focused on the piston gimmick, where they kind of decided not to use the upper body, you know, articulation. And here is one of those big white stickers I was talking about. They're on the main body. Now, if you don't like them, you can always peel them off or not use it at the first place. So I just thought it was a very odd choice, but once again, if I don't like it, I can always peel it off. Now, I'm looking at the arms. So the arms can move forward and backward like that. It's a very interesting gimmick going on here. So this front, they actually use the same 2 parts here, front and back, but only on the one on the front is actually connected to a different peg. The back one is not connected to anything other than the arm joint, so which allows you to move forward and backward like this. Kind of I'm not sure what they were going for. Maybe, I'm not sure there's like a term for this in terms of engineering, but yeah, it's definitely a new gimmick or system I'm looking at. And because of that, you are able to move the arm a little bit up, but once again, on the shoulder joint a little bit upwards, but because of the head and such, there is going to be some blockage, but still the arms can go about this much to the side. Because of the shoulder, there is some limitations going on here. Of course, I believe if I pull off the head, I can go a little bit more, but that's kind of, you know, not really necessary. And the arms can go 360 around here. The main connection is a ball joint as well, so no need to worry. Now the arms structure is definitely very interesting going on here. So you can't rotate this part of the arm, but you are able to rotate this lower section 360, because I believe this part is also a ball jointed connection, and we have a nice bend going on here. Now once again, I think engineering wise or part wise you could bend more, but once again it's just the parts and design that's colliding in the way, hence blocking the articulation. Now on the other arm has the beam gun, as well. It's a very unique beam gun. We've seen this in Gundam Battle Operation 2 as well. I haven't played the first one, so I'm not sure if this was also included in the game. Now this one in the game basically is one of those beam guns where you can charge up and fire a stronger shot as well. I do feel like this is a very unique weapon. So far we haven't seen any other mobile suit that uses a beam gun like this. Now it's a very different design. You can see the claw sections are much bigger compared to the HGUC version right over here. So yeah, it's much bigger as well. So and of course there is another connection to the arm like the original, but this one uses all full plastic. So, and they actually have these joints going on here. So I am not feeling too comfortable regarding this connection. But still, I feel like if there's any part that would break someday or eventually would be that small connection. Now, it's not necessary, but they just wanted to give out that where it's connected to the arm section going on. So yeah, and the overall design, they did consider where they knew that this part was going to collide with the gun, so they actually made a small small area here so that this could fit in here. So that's kind of smart, I guess. Alright, so we've seen the arms, the hands. Of course, because of the handle, you have to hold it like that. And the hands are kind of on the smaller side compared to the original. Alright, and then the legs. Now the legs, despite how these look like, they do have a kind of a side swivel, but the side swivel is actually on the inside. So you do have like a inside side swivel going on here. And you can go forward with no problem as well. Of course, there is one issue I'm having. I'll get into that later. You can go a 90-degree kick going on there, and then bend wise we get a nice bend going on here, and that exposes some of the internal parts. And once again, let's point out more stickers right over here from the front. So these red sections are color separated pieces. Now this one over here is obviously a sticker, so keep that in mind. And then the orange parts here, while the orange parts are color separated pieces, the middle on the you can see there's like a small gray sticker on the middle right over here. Oops, sorry about that. So there we go. We have a gray sticker on the middle, so that's one sticker on there. And then I believe there's a similar sticker somewhere else. Where was it? There we go. We have another one right over here. So once again, I wouldn't. I did this for the review, but if I was going to build this again, I would not use these stickers because I always never liked these type of stickers as well. And then here we have another sticker right over here, and then we have more thruster stickers or vent stickers right over here on the bottom here and here. This is another sticker I forgot to mention. So most of the stickers goes onto the leg. So, and the feet wise, you have a nice toe bend going on here. And once again, without any polycaps, this thing is stiff, but there is a slight pivot joint on the inside. It's just a very stiff joint. And forward and backward is there as well. And let's see, now the back skirt is the main issue I have. Now the back skirt is a separate piece. You can move side to side as well, and then you do have a slight movement front and backwards, but once again it's very stiff and it doesn't really have much space to move inside. I believe the original Barzam did also have a back skirt, but this was like integrated onto the backpack, so it's not really a back skirt anymore. So I feel like maybe if this was actually part of the backpack, I feel like in terms of the reboot design, they totally redesigned it so that they considered they made this into a back skirt rather than to integrate it into the backpack. So you can definitely see like the big changes that they gave into this version. So you can see there's like interesting design choices because once again, it's really up to the designer as well. So they each have a different interpretation on these certain areas. And yeah, that's pretty much it for articulation as far as I know. Now, because of the overall design here, like going to the side is actually possible because the joints here actually, there is a joint that actually moves out. So of course it does move out, but you can't go fully 90 degrees because once again, design, there's no more space to go outside. So this was actually pretty impressive while building. So they did put some, sorry about that. They actually did put some consideration on the leg articulation here. Now it's been so many years that I actually did review this. I keep forgetting how much articulation this thing had, but once again, the original HGUC version did also have something like this as well. Of course, it had its limitations. So yeah, we're all good. Alright, and you can see the original Barzem could move a little bit more because of the shape of the joint here. So yeah, I feel like this kit, while I do overall like the design, the outer design here, I think they were too focused on the like literally the design instead of like certain articulation points. So it feels like they gave up certain articulation areas or range to give it more design. So yeah. Now, other than that, with the beam gun, there's no, as much as they may look like claws, they don't actually open up, so no need to worry about that. The only thing that's left is the beam sabers. They're pretty much the same style beam sabers as the original Barzem, which they have this end tip, long, you know, this end tip here, which I'm not too sure why, but still, you can still plug it into the hand and you're good to go. The only downside is that there's no way to store them in. But then again, the original Barzem did also have that issue where, while you did have a storing mechanism, it wasn't actually a fully storing mechanism. Now, I think at this point is the main question, like, which one is better? I'm not going to say, like, which one is better. Of course, if you're looking for more articulation, I think the HGUC version might be better. But if you're looking for, like, the overall design, where a much more advanced of Zeta-ish design, definitely the reboot version will suit your needs. Because I do know, like, certain Advance of Zeta fans are very hardcore, and I'm definitely sure that they will like this better. Because once again, this Barzem was actually the one we saw in Z-Gundam, and the Barzem was supposed to be a mass production type of the Gundam Mark II, but they cut cost a lot, so hence it becomes this. Of course, we have the middle version where it's like a Gundam Mark II body with a Barzem hand and such, but yeah, that's a whole different story. But still, you get the idea. So yeah, I'm gonna say, like, they're both very good kits, they're both very fun, and both are very unique. So it's really up to your choice. But if you're much more focused on the Advance of Zeta, then you'll be I think the reboot version will be much better. But if you're more of the anime style, you're into the one that you actually saw in the anime, then obviously the HGUC mass retail version will be better. So once again, I'm not gonna say like which one is better, which one is the least better one. So because each of them have their own uniqueness. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So once again, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the P-Bandai exclusive HGUC Barzam reboot version, or AOZ reboot version. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.